Okay, hit it.
There we go. I just
Okay.
got to thank you massively for taking time out to do this with me. I mean, I appreciate it so
Oh,
much. Like,
see, you call it time out. I call it time on. I mean, these conversations are very important to me because mostly it reconnects me with myself. As you will ask me questions and take me in different paths, and it makes me reconnect with an answer to what you're talking about.
well, I guess we'll jump sort of into the beginning and we'll sort of go back to you at the start. And I'll just kind of ask you about, can you sort of tell me about you growing up and emigrating to Florida and how you sort of got started with all the music stuff?
Well, just to as a disclaimer, I haven't grown up yet. I'm still very much in touch with my the child that lives inside of all of us. Some of us are in touch with it, some of us are not, but it's still there.
Yeah.
And people ask me about. I'm 74, and they ask me about aging. I think aging is an option. Yes, you will grow older and hopefully wiser, but aging, I know a lot of young people who are really old.
Yeah.
Not it's not even their souls, it's just their consciousness, which is connected to their soul, but they feel a little bit too much weight upon their shoulders. I think the younger generation has way more to deal with because it all started. Let's say you go to primitive man.
Yeah.
Primitive man was not even aware that he was living in a round planet with different climates.
Yeah.
You know, some of them were born into icy, cold conditions. That's all they knew.
Yeah.
Uh, and some of them were in the desert. That's what they knew. And somebody figured out about migration. Maybe it was because other people they encountered,
Yeah.
strangers from other lands, and say, "Oh yeah, there's behind that mountain. There's like, you're living in the desert, but behind that mountain, there's like this valley with a lot of like fruits and vegetables and animals that you can eat, eat and, hunt, things like that. So, it started very isolated. All you knew was your tribe or your family.
Yeah.
And then it became a global experience. And the more you get to experience about life, and this is, I'm just talking about the outwardly experience, not even the whatever faith you believe in or in no faith. If you don't believe in any faith, you're still a believer because you believe that there's not,
Yeah.
you know. So you have no choice. You're going to believe one way or the other, yes or no. Okay. And so it gets very complicated. And the fact that we're all connected, I mean, I'm in Los Angeles, California right now. Where are you?
I'm in England.
You're in England. Where in England? I love England.
Well, I'm originally from sort of towards Newcastle, but I'm currently studying
Oh,
in Leeds.
at least, oh,
Yeah. I
one
study
of the
music.
biggest, my best memories of touring was actually playing at Leeds with Quiet Riot.
Yeah.
And I believe it was the same student. It's like a cafeteria where they all gathered there, like a common center. And that's where the Who played, I believe, that I was
Oh,
told.
really?
Yeah, that's where they made the record.
Uh-huh.
The record called The Who Live at Leeds.
Yeah.
And it was such a great day for the band. I mean, we were looking forward to it so much, just because I mean, the reason I am a musician is because of the British invasion. One thing was to actually dabble and with an instrument. I had a guitar. I had just acquired a guitar, acoustic guitar that my brother and I shared when we were children on the Christmas of 1963. And and it wasn't until a few months later when the Beatles performed at a TV show called The Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
And back then, just like in England, we had maybe three, four channels,
Yeah. Yeah.
networks. And in England, you had the BBC one and two, and I don't know what else,
Yeah. Yeah.
back in the 60s. And so, all eyes, if you own a TV set, you had three choices. So all eyes were always on Sunday night around 8 or 9 p.m. on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
And the Beatles happened to do their debut, American debut, and that changed the country,
Yeah.
basically. That changed the world. And so ever since, that's what I've been following. That's been my dream to play rock and roll, basically the same rock and roll that British bands play, that style, which was actually very much influenced by American R&B and soul music.
Yeah.
But there
Yeah.
was a certain way that the interpretation of the British artists that I gravitated to, actually, they were getting more airplay on,
Mm,
on the radio, the British invasion artists than the original artists that recorded certain music, except for Motown.
yeah.
Motown got really well balanced airplay, like Smokey Robinson and the Miracles. I'm talking again the 60s, when your grandparents were born, we're still kids. But it's the roots of rock and roll. And it's
Yeah.
the roots of my love for British music, because that was my biggest influence. That's the records that I bought. That's the arrangements of the music that might have been originally recorded by R&B or soul artists, but like Mr. Postman.
Yeah.
That's an R&B. I believe it's a Motown song.
Mm-hmm.
But the way, and even Money, which was co-written by Berry Gordy, the founder of Motown. There's different versions. You got the Beatles version, which has more of that teenage rebel angst
Yeah.
that kids could really relate to, versus a more of an adult interpretation of the song,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then we will watch the performers on TV. And as a kid, I gravitated more towards the younger performer rather than the mature artist that originally recorded the song,
Yeah.
because we're talking 60s. By then, they were 10 years older than probably when the song was first recorded in the 50s.
Mm-hmm.
And it was not even cultural to me, because I'm Latin,
Yeah.
so my first language is not English, it's actually Spanish.
Yeah.
But so I had to do more with generational connection. I connected with the who sang who sang lyrics like "I hope I die before I get old," which is
Yeah.
metaphor for aging in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
mind. But as kids, we took that literally. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't, if I die before I'm old, I agree with that. Now it has a completely different meaning to it, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And so again, the reason why I love England so much is because it was the cradle of all the music that influenced me
Yeah.
and still does.